Okay, so in this video tutorial, we'll see that how we can create a CI/CD YML pipeline using Spring Boot and Azure Kubernetes service. So we will focus more on how we can create a pipeline, not in the programming side. So, so first of all, this is my account, and in which there are no resources, so nothing is there. So we'll start from the scratch. So we have a simple Spring Boot application. Simple, very simple. It's like a simple controller, and we are printing hello aks CI/CD YML. Okay, and this is a Spring Boot start. So now we have a pipeline. So I'll explain everything. This is a multi-stage pipeline. So now we have uh, on the top we have some variables. Some of them are very basic variable related to the Azure, and then we have a username and password. So we'll change this password once we create the ACR. So let's first create the ACR, and I will give you explanation on every stages over there. So let's go to the Azure portal, and I'll share all the commands in the resource section. So first of all, let's create a group, and we'll start with the command line. So we have this command line, and make sure that you have uh, Azure login. So let's start with this. So is it group create, location, and the resource group. So it has been created. Now let's create an ACR. So the command is Azure AZ ACR create the resource group name, location, and the name of the ACR. This should be unique one across the portal. So make sure that you have your own unique ACR name. SKU is a basic, simple. So let's enter, and let's wait for some time. Okay, so it has been created. So now let's create the AKS cluster, and we'll also so basic command for the AKS cluster is this. So AKS create resource group name, which is common, then name of the cluster. So I'm choosing WS AKS cluster. It's my name. There's no specific that you can use your name, and then attach ACR. The ACR which Azure Container Registry we have already created, we are directly attaching with Kubernetes cluster. If you don't attach, then we'll have a problem while fetching or pulling the uh, registry, or in a registry we can not pull this uh, Docker container uh, images. So then we have a basic generate SSH keys which will be used for credentials. So let's enter. So this may take some time, so I'll pause the video for some time. Okay, so AKS cluster has been created. So now let's see into the portal, the resource group. This resource group we have a cluster and we have ACR. Now let's move back to the pipeline to understand it better. So pipeline is a multi-stage pipeline. One stage is for the build. We have multi-stage. So we have in the multi-stage we have one stage is for build and another stage is for deploy. Build is for the basic build pipeline. Like it will first of all build it using the Maven build, and then it will push the build artifacts into the Azure Container Registry. So we have a basic task is a Maven task, and we have a basic configuration. This will be till this line it will be an auto generated in the Azure, and then we have used the goal. The goal is a compile zip build that we are using the Google zip, and then we are passing the username and password, and the username and password are already provided as a variable. So basic, so this is a basic build pipeline, and let's see into the POM file. In the POM file, we have property called. So we have a Maven plugin, that is a Jeep plugin. So this is a simple Google Jeep plugin, and it has an artifact ID. This is a basic. We can find it online that what are the requirement for the configuration, and this is the image which is being used to build another image for a Spring Boot, and then this is the two image, that's an image artifact to store the artifacts into the registry. So here we are using the Azure registry, and where is the name is a Docker image prefix, that is this is a Azure registry prefix. We don't provide the prefix and it will go to the Docker hub, but we are using here Azure registry. So it's like a Docker hub, but it is a private registry. Okay, so now, but here we have to, as a credential, we have to pass the variables, username and password. So what username and password here is in the pipeline. So I'll explain from where I got this username and password. So another stage is deploy. So they have in the deploy stage, again it depends upon one of the stage, that is in build. We'll have to make sure that all the indentation, because this is a YML and indentation is pretty much important over there. So inside the stage there is a jobs, multi jobs, and in, because we have only one job, so we have the job here, and the job is, what is the job? It's a Kubernetes deploy that I have named it. So inside the job we have again a nested steps. So inside the steps we have a task. The task is the final one. The tasks are nothing but individual unit of execution work. So what are the tasks? Actually, we require only two tasks. That is Kubernetes run and Kubernetes expose. Kubernetes run is nothing but the deploying the pipeline for creating the pods in the Kubernetes. And Kubernetes expose is nothing but we'll expose uh, the port number, that is 8080, into the uh, whenever we are creating the services. We require a load balancer URL, which is an IP address, and for that we will create, inside that it will call the 80 port. This is a basic port. So this will automatically create a service for us. So first of all, what we'll do, we'll create the pods, and then we'll pull the images inside the task, and then we will expose the port. So now why about two tasks? About two tasks are just for whenever you are creating a second time, building the second time, there might be chances that you already have, if you have not manually deleted the ports or services, then they might be exist over there. So what you will do, so you first delete the port if exist. So the ports are the basic AKS ACR that we will be creating, and another is creating the delete if exist. So these are the steps are not required if you are creating it first time, but if you are creating a second time, it will be helpful. But if you, even if you have created it the first time, then this command will make sure that if it is there, then it will delete. If it is not there, it will simply ignore it, so you will not get any error. Okay, so it's very simple. There are four tasks, and two are more important, two are only for the basic checks whether it exists or not. Very simple. You're building, you're deploying. Very, very simple basic pipeline. There are lots of complexity over here, but we are not gonna make so much complex. This is the basic step to start with, so that you can deploy the Kubernetes service, and then after gradually you can learn what are the more complexity as per your requirement. Okay, so now password we need to change here. This is the previous one that I have created. Now I have created the new registry. So what is the registry here? This is the registry. In the registry, you go to the access key, and in the access key, you enable this admin user. Okay, so now we have a user and we have password. So we'll copy the password So we already have pasted the user ws001, that is same. If you have another username, then you can replace this username with your username. So let me remove and paste the new password. I'll save it, and in the terminal I will check Google status, and so we have password change or new ACR. Let's push it. Okay, so now it is there. So we will go to the repo, and now it has been committed just now. Okay, just now committed. So now let's see the pipeline. As this pipeline is the same one. If you want to, if I delete the pipeline, okay, let's create another pipeline for the same, so that we can get to know more clarity. So sorry. Okay, so now we have created. So before that, you need to make sure that you must have a service connections, because to connect to the Kubernetes service you need a service connection. So okay, let me delete this as well, so that we can understand that how we can create it. So first of all, let's make this pipeline as a field, and then I will explain what is the issue. Let's create the pipeline, or because we already have an existing pipeline, so we'll just select over here uh, cicd pipeline, which is YML that we were editing, and continue. This pipeline will fail. I will tell you why it is been failed, and we will how we can solve it. So we can see that there was an authorization issue. So what is an authorization issue? The Kubernetes required some authorization from the pipeline. So how we can resolve it? We have to create a service connection. So where is the service in the project setting, in the below, and then create over here service connection. So create a service connection. Then we'll have to select Kubernetes, because we just want to connect to the cluster. So loading the subscription, and we have created a subscription. So sometimes it asks for signing up. So this is my username, and put your password. Okay, so now we will select the cluster that we have created, and then it will load the namespaces. We will select the default one, and then the service connection layer, because we have, you can put any name, but the name should be same as in the pipeline. So in the pipeline we have using the AKS spawn name. Okay, so we are just saving. Okay, so it has been created. It's very simple. Now let's go back to the pipeline, and now let's try to rerun. Okay, so it started. So you got it. What is the issue? Then you'll have to create it. It's very simple again. So let's wait for some time. We'll start the slice and check out. And now this Maven build may require 2 or 3 minutes. So I'll pause the video, and you can, even without pausing the video, you can check over there. But let's pause it because it will take time. So our build pipeline has been completed. So now it will start soon the deployment pipeline. So deployment pipeline has been started. This is again the two stages. One stage is the build project, another stage is a deployment. Okay, so it looked like a success. So how can we check? So first of all, let's go to the command line and kubectl. So first of all, you get the pods. I'm sorry, we'll have to first of all take the credential. So let me get the command for the credential. So this is the command for the getting the credential. AZ credential. This command is actually available in the portal. When we go to the cluster and then in the cluster connect, then we can get over here. We can get the same command and copy and paste over there. So because I have already a previous one, so I just override it. Okay, now let's try Kubernetes kubectl get pods. Yeah, so one is running. So kubectl get svc. This is services. So this is the second task. This is the first task and the second task. These are assembling the two tasks I already explained. This is the service task, and this is one is related to pod. Okay, so now we have an external IP. We can copy it and paste it to the browser. In the browser, just paste it. Okay, so this is the we have successfully deployed the build pipeline and it is fully automated. Now we have connected we have created. Now you may have asked that okay, we have some manual steps like service creating connection, so that we can predefine it. We can reuse the same service connection into the multiple pipelines, so it's a one-time creation. But now if we do any sort of a changes and we'll run it, we don't require any sort of recreation of the service connection. We can reuse the same one. So it will be an fully automated Spring Boot pipeline. And even we have, if we commit anything, say for example over here, um, so here we can see that we can trigger the master. So trigger master, and uh, and then after the moment we commit, it will automatically trigger the build pipeline and deploy one as well. Okay, so this is it for this section. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.